I would like to ask you to take your seats, and if the sound is on, maybe we could we'll see some people come over and join the audience. I'd like to welcome you to our Sustainability Forum. It's an honor for me to moderate 3 of the discussions, and the first presentation is called Climate Neutral Production. To begin with, let me perhaps introduce myself. My name is Martin Faulstich, and currently I teach at the Technical University of Dortmund. In the past, I used to teach in Clausthal and in Munich, and I was always a professor for energy resources or the environment. In the name, those words were in there in the name, and for climate neutral production, all of these things come together. Apart from that, I provided advice to lawmakers for a long time, for 10 years. I provided advice to the federal government. Now I'm head of the Resource Commission. And here you see the INZIN Institute. That's a small institute in Düsseldorf. It's an industrial institute that provides scholarships for young doctoral students, and together with the state governments, we run the expertise networks for environmental economy in NRW, state of NRW. And here I'm going to be presenting at the VDW platform. They are, of course, also the organization that runs this trade show, and they've invited us to come and speak here. Now, I could tell you a lot about this subject of sustainability, but since we have so many eminent speakers on this, I don't have to say much about it. But I would like to say just a couple things when we begin here. Sustainability, the conventional term, and this applies more than ever, is that you have a long-term economical and ecological economy over the long term. And if you're familiar with the indicators, you know that this is not necessarily the case everywhere in the world. And if you look at the current industrial society that's fossil-based, and if you look at it at a global level and you want to move from there to a sustainable industrial society, then we need an energy transition and a raw materials transition, and all of this would go into sustainable production, which over the long term, by 2045, that's the new milestone we have to meet. But I know from many companies at the trade show that they have more ambitious goals, 2035, 2030, and by then they want to be climate neutral, resource efficient, and also they want to be attractive in attracting talented people and experts, because this, of course, is perhaps the scarcest resource. And nowadays, if you've finished your university degree, you don't go and apply for a job with the company. Companies apply to students for recruiting them, and I noticed that that's the case with my students. They all have a number of attractive jobs offered them. We're the media partners here. This is a publication that we're responsible for, the Sustainable Industry. We publish this, and it's once every 3 months, and all of these subjects are covered there. Now, I'm very pleased that you've come here to be with us today, and even more so, I'm pleased that despite the short-term notice for requests for the speakers, they all said they could come here. The panel, of course, I admit, isn't too gendered, but that's the way it is in this industry. We have all men here, and the program, well, that's the intro first, you're hearing that, and after that we have a keynote speech. All of the speeches after that, of course, could also be considered keynote speeches. So we'll be hearing about climate neutral factories, environmental declarations, environmental data, digitization and resource efficiency, saving compressed air, and at the end we'll have a bit of a panel discussion. We'll be brief though with the panel discussion. So it'll be like at a football game, soccer game in Europe. You have a lot of stand-up space if there's a lot of interest. And we have room for questions at the end, and the speakers can ask each other questions, but we've prepared some questions too. Now, we are here in the state capital of Lower Saxony, so we've done our best to make sure that the speakers don't have to come too far to be here. This is a sustainability aspect too, of course. And first of all, I would like to welcome the person who's already wired up. That's Daniel Weiss from Adelphi Consult in Berlin. He is a person who didn't have to come that far either. He's been working for Adelphi for more than 14 years now. He has an international training background. He did sustainable management in Leeds, political science in Kiel. He was at the Georgia Institute of Technology too, and that's it for his background. If you're at an interface between technology and political consulting, you will know about this company, Adelphi Consulting, and decarbonization of the economy and lower Saxony. That's the subject. That's just part of the subject of covering, but that's the name it's been given. And I'm now happy to welcome him up on stage, who will give us this keynote speech. We've got a total of 2 hours here, including the discussion, but we're going to be kind of relaxed in terms of the schedule, and I think we'll be able to cover everything.